So when you come to care about how you feel, and you begin to pick your way through life, through thoughts, through experiences, through television channels, through food buffets, through relationships, as you pick your way through, caring about how you feel as you focus, and you train yourself to keep focusing into something that feels a little better and a little better and a little better and a little better, until you train yourself to see your world through the eyes of Source, then you will begin to live your life as you intended when you came forth into this physical body. Not one of you said, I'll go forth into a human form, but before I get there, get it all cleaned up. And then I'll be born into a feathered nest where all I have to do is just look around and feel good. Not one of you said that. Every one of you said, let me at it, I'm eager to go. I know the variety will inspire my expansion, and when expansion occurs, I'll turn my undivided attention toward my expansion, and I'll have this glorious ride on this wonderful river. I will be fulfilled. I am eternally expanding. That's what every one of you said. We said we would remind you when you forgot. Because your guidance system itself, even though it's reminding you, you have sort of numbed yourself to that. In other words, you would think that when you feel strong negative emotion that you'd get the signal you're off your track. But some of you have become confused about what your negative emotion means, because instead of paying attention to your own guidance, in other words, there are thoughts that feel better and thoughts that feel worse. Instead of paying attention to your own guidance and coming into alignment with who you really are, many of you begun to listen to those outside of you who are serving their interests, and that's all right for them to serve their interests, but it's not all right for you to serve their interests instead of your own. In other words, if you're not selfish enough to come into vibrational alignment with who you are, you have nothing to give anyone anyway, you see. So when you begin to remember that you are source energy, and that you projected yourself into this physical body, and that you knew that the contrast would cause an expansion of you, and you knew that you would turn in the direction of that expansion, you knew that you are eternal beings, and that this life would be so inspiring for you. Now we want to talk about something. We want to talk about this guidance system in a way that you can really hear it. And as you listen to this explanation, it is our knowing that you will come into alignment with that which you knew when you made the decision to come forth. This will resonate at very deep level. So do you acknowledge that you are eternal beings? And does it make sense to you, since there is this eternal part of you, that this eternal part of you has a very strong point of attraction? You can tell just by the thoughts you think. When you've been pondering something softly, you don't see much forming around it initially. But the more you give your attention to something, the more it begins to show up in your experience. Have you proven that to yourself? So you're getting the sense of law of attraction and its powerful response to the vibration that is at the heart of things. Law of attraction is the most powerful law in the universe, and it's the law that says that which is likened to itself is drawn. That's the law that says when you set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m., you're going to hear what's being broadcast on 6:30 a.m. You can't set your tuner on one frequency and hear what's being broadcast on another frequency. The frequencies have to match up. And law of attraction is the manager of vibrational frequencies. So, you get that, don't you? To some degree. In other words, Esther loves it even today after all of these years. We've been talking to Esther and Jerry about law of attraction since 1985. And even today, when Esther is on her way someplace and she will say, there will be a parking place right in front for us. I can see it in my mind's eye. And I like those when somebody backs out just as I back in, just as I come in, because those are the ones that I can feel are really being orchestrated for me. And never, ever, ever does she pull in there and feel that car pulling out that she isn't thrilled with the power of law of attraction. Every single time. As they're driving down the freeway, and she looks at her odometer and it says 111 at the same time that the mile marker says 111. She thrills with the power that law of attraction has brought her to focus upon these things. In other words, we want you to use the ability to focus, and we want you to think about convergence. We want you to think think about this orchestration that law of attraction provides for you, where all things that are important to you, or even better said, all things that are vibrationally active within your vibration converge, and that's what makes up your life experience. So we can feel that you're sort of getting the idea of law of attraction, but we want to give you another awareness of it. And if you can hear this in the powerful way that we are projecting it to you, a whole new understanding of life and emotion and creation is going to erupt within you. So you acknowledge that you are eternal beings, yes? And you acknowledge that you've been in this physical body for a while, yes? And the relationship time-wise between the amount of time in this body is, and this eternal you is something else altogether, yes? So you've been in the process of becoming this God self that is you, yes? You're getting the sense of who you really are in relationship to who you really are? Who you really are. Now, we're not wanting to diminish who you are in this physical body. We just want you to think law of attraction has been responding to this part of you for a very long time. Do you get that? And can you imagine what kind of current is being summoned toward that part of you? So now consider this. So here you are, this powerful, attractive being, and you come into the physical experience where you bang around, you don't know what you're doing, you're sort of blind and little and bald and you have no teeth and you're banging around. And you're exposing yourself to all kinds of experiences, and you give birth to rocket of desire after rocket of desire, which, this is the part we want you to remember, source energy rides those rockets of desires and becomes the non-physical vibrational embodiment of the new expanded you. Can you feel that? Now that's what law of attraction is responding to. This new version of you, this weller, richer, clearer minded, nicer, more expanded version of you. That's who you have become. That's what law of attraction is responding to. And you know what that does for you here in your physical body? It gives you a feeling of momentum that goes this way. We want to call this downstream. In other words, it's this effortless downstream calling. So then we see you, blessed beings that you are. You take your boat down to the river's edge, and almost without exception, in the beginning, you point your raft upstream and you begin paddling very, very hard. And we, who are over here with the current, say, why not turn and go with the flow? And humans say, oh, that just seems lazy. Or they say, everyone I know is paddling upstream. Or they say, all the rewards and monuments and trophies are given to those who struggle and strive. And we say, we get why you do it, sorta, but nothing that you want is upstream. Not one thing that you want is upstream, because we have seen the way the universe plays out. In other words, we know that everything that you want is being held by the you that is really you, and that law of attraction is dominantly responding to that evolved version of you, and that's what causes the momentum of the stream. So when you get that and you begin choosing thoughts that let you move in the direction of who you really are, you feel wonderful. And when you choose thoughts that do not let you move in the direction of who you are, you don't feel so good. So downstream is closing the gap between you and you. Upstream is widening the gap between you and you. And everything about your emotions is letting you know about that. We are eager to talk with you today about anything that is important to you. And we want to help you to find more and more downstream statements. We want you to realize that while we're all the time crowing about love and appreciation and joy and alignment, which is where you perceive your freedom and empowerment, and we are not proponents at all of despair and fear and disempowerment, we want you to know that if you're over there in despair, you can't all of a sudden jump over here to appreciation. It's not possible. The frequencies are too far apart. And you don't need to do it anyway. Sometimes our physical friends listen to us for a while and they leave with a sort of attitude of, oh, well, even though I'm in despair, I'm going to figure out how to get a motor on my boat, and I'll go down there to where love and appreciation and joy are. And we say, you don't need to put a motor on your boat. You don't need to turn your boat around and begin paddling downstream. Just let go of the oars. When you let go of the oars, the stream will turn you. And if you understand anything about what we've been giving you here, you've got to get the sense that this stream is moving toward this expanded version of you. And when you stop the struggle, which is the only thing that's got you pointed upstream anyway, when you stop feeling unworthy, when you stop not liking yourself, when you stop hating others, when you stop looking for reasons to feel bad, and you begin looking for more reasons to feel good, you will be on your way, and quickly.